Hi everyone, I am getting ready for my stamp camp on Saturday and I wanted to show you one of the projects we're going to be making. It is this cute little taffy apple box and I thought it was super fun to turn the Harvest Hellos apple into a little caramel taffy apple, I'm not sure what you want to call it. And it's super cute. I actually received a swap and it was made by another demonstrator. This is my swap card that someone sent me, and I usually have a post-it note on the back with whose swap it was, and I don't. So I'm very sorry to whoever this is. Let me know if it's you. And I thought it was a super cute card, but there's a lot going on in Stamp Camp. I usually have about 15 people, and while it is adorable like this and totally doable, I thought for my box project I would simplify it just a little bit with just a few less layers. But otherwise, it's pretty much a copy of her card. And here it is. And I thought I would show you how to put this together. I'm starting with a piece of real red cardstock, and it's cut at 6 inches by 10. And then I'm going to use a Stampin' Score here. If you don't have one of these, it's called the Simply Scored Scoring Board, and it is super handy for box making, which is what I use it for. And it comes with this little scoring tool stylus thing here. You just pull that out. And it also has markers for what size you want to do your scores at, and I have since lost them. So they're here somewhere, but I think they fell behind my desk, and my desk is heavy and I can't move it. So one of these days I'll pull it out and find it. But anyway, it's got the little inches marks here and on the side, and you can score based on whatever size box you want to make. You can make all kinds of things on this, and it's really handy. I really like it. And for this box, I will tell you the measurements. We're using a 1/2 inch, and then we're going to move over to 3 3/4. And this will all be on my blog as well. So if you forget these and you don't want to watch the video again, you can go over to bethpapercuts.com and they'll be written out there. The next one is 5 1/4, and then I'm moving over to 8 1/2. So basically I've made 2 sides, and those are 1 1/2 inches a piece, 2 panels, which are 3 1/4 a piece, and then a 1/2 inch lip to use to tie it all together. And then I'm going to rotate it and score at the 1 inch mark, and that is going to be my bottom flap. Next, I'm just going to cut my flaps. I like to cut little angles. Instead of just going straight up the line, I like to make little tiny V's, and I'll show you why when I put it together. Now this one we don't need, so I'm going to cut that right off. And a little bit off the top. So that is how your cut piece looks. Okay, next you're going to fold on all your scores. And I'm going to use this tear tape. Tear tape is really handy. It's a strong adhesive, so you can use it on boxes that are going to get kind of opened and closed and touched a lot. So it's nice and strong and yet easy to use, and you don't have to wait for it to dry. So I like that. Okay, here's where those little angles are going to be nice. When you have those little angles cut into your flaps, you know you're going to get a nice clean edge. Nothing's going to be sticking up. You're not going to accidentally be off and have a little bit sticking up or down from the sides. So it's just a nice and clean edge. And same thing here. When you cut down the line straight, you know, you may not be perfect, so you might have a little bit sticking out. But by cutting that little angle, you know you're going to clear that nice clean edge, and it's going to look nice and clean. So that is how easy that box comes together. Next we're going to decorate the front. And here's how I just do the sides. I use my fingers and just pinch it like that with my fingers on the side and pinch it closed. And that's it. Then you're going to want to take a hole punch and punch 2 little holes. Like that. Okay, so let's decorate it. I've got a piece of soft suede, and this is cut 3 by 3.5. And then this little piece is just 1/4 of an inch smaller on all sides, on 2 sides. So this is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4, and it's going to go right on top. Now this burlap pattern is from the annual catalog, and here's the back, and it's really fun. I enjoy it a lot. It's from a pattern pack called Pressed Petals, and it's got this beautiful burlap, and then it's got some really pretty flowery petals too. It's a really fun paper. Okay, now to highlight the apple, just to bring it out a little more, there's a white circle, and I'm actually using, I don't know if you can see this, this is actually, if you watched my videos before, you saw this snow globe shaker card, and it cuts out this little dome. And I'm using these little domes because I already had them. So that's what I'm using. But if you don't have that piece, I'm trying to use scraps. And so that was the perfect use for these little domes. And it's got a nice cut edge already on it. But if you don't have a little dome sitting around, just grab your layering circles dies or a large circle punch. This is about 2 inches. And you're going to just cut an end off the bottom and just layer it right on there. And I kind of pushed it a little bit to the right, just for fun, so I'd have room for my tag going to the left. And I thought it looked cute to kind of be off center, like so. And now you're just going to stamp an apple on some real red scrap left over from when you cut your box. And this cuts out with the punch. There you go. Now with another scrap of soft suede that's just laying around, make yourself another piece. But you don't have to go all the way. And that's going to be your caramel. And you're just going to take your paper snips and just make drips. And you don't want them all to be the same. Some are going to be little shallow drips. Some might be longer and thicker. You've got your little drips. Now I think it's easier to do this with this caramel already taped down. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive and put that caramel down. Just because this is such a small piece, it's harder to work with. And now you're going to take a new product called Shimmery Crystal Effects. And it's in this little pen bottle. And you're just going to apply it to your apple. And I'm using the tip to kind of smear it around a little bit. And there it is. Now you're gonna, I think at Stamp Camp I'll have them do their apples first so they can dry. It doesn't take that long to dry. So you're gonna set that aside and we'll make the rest here. So I'm using a scrap of Whisper White. I'm gonna stamp the You Make Me Smile. I'm just going to flag the ends. There we go. And we're using another scrap. This is crumb cake, and I have these little strips in my paper packs all the time. And all I'm going to do is take a circle punch. This one happens to be 3/4 inch circle punch. I'm just kind of grabbing you if you have a 1-inch one, that's too good too, or 1/2 inch one. And you're just going to kind of round off the top just a little bit by putting it in the back and just kind of snipping it off. That just gives a little rounded edge. And that's going to go right behind your apple. So I'm going to grab a glue dot and do that while it's drying. I'm just going to take a couple glue dots here. And add them behind my drying apple, like that. And then also in the apple punch is this cute little leaf, and I'm going to go ahead and punch the leaf. Now normally when you have a caramel apple and you've made it, you probably removed the leaf and the stem. I'm just doing adding it on there for a little bit of color variation. We've got a lot of browns here, and I think no one's going to think about that when they look at the card or the box. So yes, you don't really need a leaf on a caramel apple, but it's going to add some color. Next, I made a little bow out of some linen thread. It comes on this little spool, and I use a lot of it, so this one's almost done. And I wanted a double bow, so I folded my linen thread in half. Might as well just finish this off. And tied a bow. And I'll just snip off the ends. And that will also get attached with a glue dot. This time I'm going to roll the glue dot into a smaller ball and tuck it right by that leaf. Like so. And then that's just going to go right on there, but first I'm going to glue this to my box. Did I run out? I did. Okay, I like to put this on first so I can have my hand inside and just put that down. Might have gone off the side just a little more than I intended. Okay, that's down good. And we can go ahead and attach our apple. And I just did that one with some dimensionals. Still a little wet, so I'm going to hold it by the stem. And then the You Make Me Smile is going to go right behind with a glue dot. So I think this would be a great teacher gift for teacher appreciation, or just for anybody, co-worker during the fall, a nice little caramel apple. And I want to show you, before I tie the ribbon, some different things you can put inside. This time of year is always fun for candy at Target or different places. And they have these little apple-shaped caramels at Target right now. They're called caramel apple chocolates. So how perfect is that? And you can put some of those in a bag. And I also found from Dove some caramel apples as well, and they're in fall colors. They're not shaped like apples, but they're green, which will be nice. And I figured we'll put a little mixture. People can put a few of these in their box and a few of these in their box. Different chocolate brands, but they're fun. And they all have that caramel apple. This one has little graham flavored crisps. Kind of interesting. So anyway, it's a time of year for fun candy, isn't it? And different colored M&Ms. So this is going to go inside. I'm not going to fill this one because this will be my sample. And I'm using some real red ribbon. Now, if you're wondering how I'm going to get this ribbon in this tiny hole, let me show you a trick. A few years ago, one of my customers turned me on to these dental flossers. I think they're for people with braces, and you know, it's hard to get floss through all those nooks and crannies. So this is a way to thread your floss through your braces. But it's in the dental aisle by toothpicks and such, and by the floss, and they're by gum. So they come this little handy dandy thing. You can just reuse, all you need is one really, and you're going to thread your ribbon through that loop, and so it's so big. How easy is that? And then this tiny little plastic stick can go in your holes and just pull that ribbon right through. And how easy was that? Isn't that fun? So I should have started there and went around. Put it through there, through the hole, so that is my amazing how to thread a ribbon through a tiny hole trick. Thank you, Lois. So then you're just going to tie a bow on your bag, and you've got a gorgeous little gift to give to, let me tie a knot first, someone you work with, or friend, or you can send this to some college students who are away, and they'll get a cute little something in the mail for fall with some candy. Who wouldn't like that? Alright, you can tie a nice bow. So there you have it. There is my caramel apple with the Harvest Hellos stamp set and coordinating punch. I think that there's so many adorable things online if you do a search for Harvest Hellos with the pumpkin or the apple, and people have made other things out of it as well. It's such a cute bundle. I really think that you should add this. You know, every year I buy a lot of things from the catalog, and sometimes at the end of the catalog, you know, I have too many because I demonstrate them. I sell some things off, but this one I think I'm going to keep in my collection for quite a while. I love the little pumpkin face and this punch. So this is an awesome bundle to get right now, and when you use the bundle item number, you save 10%, whereas if you had purchased the two items separately. So look for the bundled number, and if you can't find that, let me know, and I will help you find the bundle number. And you can check out all the dimensions, and I also put on my blog, you know, you'll see this picture and the cut measurements, but you'll also see supply lists. So if you forgot the pressed petals paper or the shimmery crystal effects, that'll all be in the supply list on my blog for this item. And when you shop with me, you get frequent buyer rewards points, so you can earn stamp sets as your points accrue. So check that out, and you can download the frequent buyer rewards points at my blog as well. And check out all the fun candies at Target and Jewel, Osco, well, in the Chicagoland area, and wherever grocery stores are by you. So I hope you like it, and there it is. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.